G'day everyone and welcome to Cook with Jazza. Ha! Tricked you, it's not.
No, this is not Cook with Jazza. This is my show, Sugar High Score. My name is Stephanie and today I am going to show you how to turn something as simple as cake into a beautiful piece of artwork. My inspiration for this cake is one of my family's favorite YouTubers, and that is Jazza. This is going to be so much fun. All right, let's jump right into it. I'm going to make his entire chin out of modeling chocolate, and I'm sticking it up under my board. And then I'm molding it into his chin shape with my hands.
I have 7 chins. This dude has way more chins than me. I only have 7.
All right, moving on to the cake. When I think of Jazza, I think of colors. So this cake flavor is one of my favorites. It's called confetti cake, and it is full of sprinkles. And then I begin layering up my cake in buttercream frosting. The frosting I'm using is American buttercream, so it is super sweet and yummy. Now that my cake is layered, I have to add dowels. These are actually called bubble tea straws. I push these 4 straws into the cake until they hit the cake board, and then I cut the straws flush with the cake. Once I have them cut, I added another board. This whole process of adding dowels and boards is what keeps my cake in place and not squishing down on itself or falling over. And then I add more cake and buttercream frosting.
Well, that looks like a bloody good time.
Okay, now that my cake is stacked, I begin carving it. I will admit that this is one of the hardest parts for me, so I try to just take off a little bit of cake at a time. And I make sure to always hold my template up to the cake to check and see if I'm getting it right. Okay, I've got his head all carved into shape, and I'm covering it in white chocolate ganache. White chocolate ganache is so delicious. It is only 2 ingredients, white chocolate and heavy cream. I want the ganache to be nice and smooth, so I'm running a flexible plastic smoother around it until there are no more rough spots.
It's so smooth and perfect. Oh my god.
I'm using my template again to mark Jazza's eyes and mouth. I'm going to go ahead and pull the cake out to create an indentation in these 2 areas. Next, I'm covering Jazza's face with skin tone colored modeling chocolate. What I love about modeling chocolate is that you can add more to any area and easily blend the seams. So in this case, I wanted to add more to his chin and also around his cheeks and jaw area. The warmth from your hands warms the chocolate just enough so that it can be blended. I accidentally filled his mouth in, so I'm going back here and etching the mouth back into his face, and I'm pulling out that modeling chocolate too. And then I give him a bottom lip, and I'm using a tool called a Dresden tool to blend that in, and I also give him a top lip too. The next thing I'm adding to his face is his nose. I always have a hard time with noses. I will spend an hour messing around with it. It's just kind of weird and hard for me.
I have a much larger than average size nose.
Next up is his hair, so I'm getting the template back out and I'm tracing exactly where I want his hair to be. Before I add it though, I'm trimming the cake down just a tad because his forehead is looking a little bit too tall.
I mean, I have a pretty big forehead, let's admit it, but this really accentuates it.
And I forgot there's one more thing I need to add before the hair, and that is the ears. Ears are also kind of weird and hard for me to make. I just use my hands and tools to make the ears out of modeling chocolate. You do have to be careful because if you overwork the modeling chocolate, it will get too soft. In that case, you should stop touching it and come back later when the chocolate has set back up. Okay, now I really am putting on the hair. This is a sheet of modeling chocolate that I colored the blondish brown color of his hair. I'm using an X-Acto knife to cut away the excess. And then I'm also adding the front and top part of his hair. I wasn't really liking how his hair looked so flat. Jazza does not have flat hair, it's more on the wild side. So I decided to add some thicker pieces of modeling chocolate, and then I really loved how it turned out.
The most important thing is I have all my hair. That's all I care about.
Next, I've modeled his eyebrows out of modeling chocolate, and I'm putting those into place. And the eyes go into place too. The eyes were made out of fondant, but you could also use modeling chocolate for those too. Just whatever you like. I wanted the eyes to look really big and stand out, so I'm carefully outlining them in black edible paint. Here's a little trick. If you mess up when you're painting, you can easily remove the paint with food-grade alcohol like vodka. It will just wipe away, so don't even worry if you mess up. Next, I'm adding his teeth. I'm pushing a strip of white modeling chocolate into his mouth, and then I'm getting it blended in, and then I'm etching a line right down the middle to make it look like teeth. I do not want to forget the dimples in his cheeks. I am using a tool made by Innovative Sugarworks to create these dimples. To finish off the face and hair, I'm painting it very lightly to add shading and to kind of make it look a little bit like a stubble on his face.
Just look at that. It's amazing how just the nuances of the details of my face are catching the light in exactly the same way that my face does.
Since his body is on the smaller side, I'm making it out of Rice Krispie treats. Be sure to spray your hands with cooking spray before you start, or else the treats will be stuck all over your hands. To get the treats to stick to my structure, I'm brushing it with melted marshmallows first, and then I'm pressing the treats into the shape of his body. Next, I'm covering it in a layer of modeling chocolate, which will make the treats more smooth. You could also use the ganache or the buttercream that we used earlier. And then I'm covering it in burgundy fondant to match his shirt.
In my opinion, there's only one thing more satisfying than wearing a t-shirt of your own design, and that is not wearing pants.
To finish off my Jazza Cake, I'm going to completely cover my board in colorful sprinkles. I have used up every single rainbow sprinkle that I have on this cake.
If I was an influencer, I'd be happy with an avatar just like that. Stop! Just stop! Oh God! Whatever you're doing, just stop! Stop it!
I am so pleased with the way that my Jazza Cake turned out, and I had so much fun making it. I hope that you all learned a little bit about cake art, and maybe you can make your own Jazza Cake at home. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you again. Bye!